Hi, I'm Calivan. In this series we're going to take a look at Beyond All Reason, a most excellent RTS that you can play right now for free. And I do mean totally free. That's the whole game with no limits, no microtransactions or any paid extras. It's a whole lot of fun, it's modern and still undergoing active development. Instead of talking about the game's history and showing you a few features like I normally would, we're going to do something a little bit different. This video is going to serve as both an introduction to the game as well as the first in a series of videos about how to play it. I'm going to try to avoid talking about the games that BAR is based on, as well as making too many comparisons to other more well-known RTS titles. So as long as you're familiar with the genre as a whole, then you shouldn't have too many problems following along. I'm going to talk you through a couple of skirmishes. The first will be very basic to introduce you to the core concepts, and the second will be a little bit more involved as we build on the knowledge gained in the first battle. In future videos we'll talk more about tactics, strategy and other advanced parts of the game, before moving on to the multiplayer aspects. At its very heart, BAR is a classic real-time strategy game. You get the resources, build a base, produce some units, and then use all of those things to crush your opponent. So, without further preamble, let's jump into our first skirmish and go over the basics. So, first we need to pick a starting location. We can spawn anywhere on the green side of the map, and our enemy spawns anywhere on the red side of the map. Our starting unit is called our commander. He can build all of the basic buildings, and he's kind of the linchpin of the whole operation. He's quite tough early on in the game and can kill any other single unit you're likely to face, although he can be overwhelmed and killed by more numerous units. You have to keep him safe because although he's powerful, if he dies you will lose the game. So he's the kind of unit you want to take advantage of as much as possible at the start and then keep him safe later on. So we're going to spawn him in here. Then we're going to get building.
Battle started.
The first thing we need is a few resources, so we're going to build a metal extractor on this nice shiny metal spot on the floor, which is the only place we can build them. Then we're going to build a windmill. That way we've got some metal and some energy coming in, and then we're going to do that for each one of these spots. We can build the windmills anywhere, but I like to build them next to the extractor just so I don't have to move my commander around. And we'll do the same down here too. Now, resources in BAR work on a continual income method. So, as long as these extractors and windmills stay alive, they'll continually produce resources. You can see this metal extractor is producing 2.2 metal a second, and this windmill is currently producing 24 energy a second. And you've got a nice summary on the top of the screen where you can see we're bringing in 9 metal and 98 energy. And we're expending a lot more, but we've got some saved up, so it's not too bad. Now we're building a bot lab. The first thing I'm going to build is a couple of pawns. These are very simple, easy to kill and weak infantry bots, but they will give me a little bit of vision, which is very important if my opponent tries a sneak attack. Once they're done, I'm now going to produce a construction bot, which is basically like a defenseless version of the commander. He doesn't build as quickly, but he can build more things, and I can build as many of these as I want. Now, I'm running out of power already, so I'm going to stop my commander assisting this build, and he's going to go and just build some more metal extractors down here. We'll just send him wandering around, queue them up and do that. And we're going to use our construction bot to start building some more wind turbines. So I'm just going to pop a patch of these over here and he's just going to go and do that. And then I'm going to build some more pawns. As well as being cheap, pawns are quick to make. In BAR, the construction time of a unit is generally, very generally, based on how many resources it takes to create. So cheap stuff builds quickly, which is really helpful for us at the start of the game. These aren't going to win much in the way of a fight, but they are going to give me vision and time to respond, which is really, really important. The starting buildings are crazy weak, and if one enemy unit slips in between my defensive screen and starts shooting these, they'll die in a few shots, and that will be very bad indeed. As soon as these peons are done, I'm going to build another couple of construction bots to help me expand my economy. The benefit of these construction bots is they actually increase our tech level as well. There's no sort of built-in tech or research screen, it's just based on the units you have. So, the commander can build a level 1 factory. That factory builds a construction unit. That construction unit can build an advanced factory, and that advanced factory can build an advanced construction unit. And then the advanced construction unit can build a thing called an experimental gantry, which is the most powerful production building you can get. So now I've got another bot, I'm going to just leave him assisting this factory, as it just improves the build time. You see, there's kind of a third resource in BAR called build power, which isn't really written anywhere, but it's essentially just a combination of all of the power of your build units added up. If you've got more build power, you can spend your resources quicker, which means you can produce stuff faster. And it also lets you adapt to the situation better. If you suddenly find your opponents building air units and you've got lots of build power, you can quickly throw up some anti-air defense. Whereas if you haven't, then you might suffer a horrible, horrible death. So we're finished here, and we're going to build another 20 pawns because they're useful to have around. We're going to leave one of these construction units guarding the factory to help the build time, and then we're going to move the other one over here. Ah, here we go. There's a sudden aircraft I wasn't expecting. So with my 2 construction bots at my base, I'm going to build a very basic anti-air defense tower, and hopefully it will shoot that down. This particular air unit is just a disabler, so it's not really killing my unit. Oh, but that's a bomber and that thing will do, so that's very nasty. But hopefully my anti-air defense will take care of these units. And I'm going to build another one a little bit further back, probably up here, for a bit more protection. Now my commander's finished building all of his extractors, so I'm going to tell him to build a couple of defense towers here. They're pretty rubbish, but they will stop the odd unit leaking through. I'll get a radar up and another couple of anti-air towers. And then with this construction bot, when he's finished, I'm going to get him to go and capture the metal up the top of the map, because that's going to be useful. And he can do the same as my commander. Build a couple of defense towers, build a radar, and then build another couple of anti-air towers. There we go, job's a good one. This guy's free, so he can go and assist my bot factory again, and I can take my bots and have a little run around. I just want to check that my opponent's not expanding too quickly, so I'm going to just quickly run to these metal spots and see if I can get a sneaky kill in. And my production's going well. I'm capping out on metal though, which is bad, so I need to up my production. So the best way to do that is to build more construction bots. Now I've got more construction bots, we can just keep pumping out. We're going to use this one to help our energy builder. We're going to queue up some more windmills for him, so he's got plenty to do. And then we're just going to keep pumping out a load of construction bots to up our build power. In fact, we've got so much metal and energy, I think we're going to go up a tech level. So we're going to use our construction bot to build a advanced bot lab, which is the next tier up, which gives us more bots, and also the advanced construction bot, which lets us build even higher tech things. Which is good because now our metal's going down significantly and we're not wasting it, which is very nice. Now these things take 2,900 metal, so we'll probably run out of metal before we finish it, unfortunately. Now we've run out of metal, so our construction speed has stopped dramatically. So we don't need all of these building it, they're not really doing anything. So we can use these for other tasks. Now obviously if we try and build more things, we'll just end up using our metal. So what we're going to do instead is just send one of them up here to gather this metal node. And we're finished. First thing we're going to do is build an advanced construction bot. We'll tell all our guys to guard this. The bots that you can build from the advanced bot lab are far better. I quite like these all-terrain rocket spiders and hounds myself, but they've all got their own uses. Now we've got an advanced construction bot, so we can actually use this to build a higher tier of metal extractor. And we're also going to tell our commander to assist him, just to make the process a bit quicker. And then with our construction bots, we're going to tell them to assist the advanced bot factory, and we're going to crank out a few rocket spiders. You'll notice that our income is way lower than our production, which is not great because it means we're going to run out of metal, but hopefully by the time we get a few more of these extractors up, things will start to balance out. You'll also notice we've actually got a lot more energy than we're spending, so what we're going to do is we're going to build a few things called energy converters. What these do is to turn excess energy into metal. We'll use some of our bots to help out. It's a very simple system. Once our energy goes above this slider that we can move around here, these things will turn on and start turning excess energy into metal. At about a 71 ratio for these basic ones. And now you can see our converters are starting to come online. And our metal situation is really improved now. But we are kind of running low on build power. So just as before, we're going to get some more build power. Now we've got lots of build power. We can tell them to build more. And we're starting to run low on energy. The windmills are good for the early game, but they kind of run out of steam a bit later on. So what we're going to do is we're going to get another advanced construction bot out and use that to build a fusion reactor, which gives us a huge amount more energy. And he's ready, so we're going to pop our fusion reactor down somewhere over here. We'll tell all our construction bots to assist him, including these two, which are done with their windmills. And this should be up in a minute or so. And then we can really start cranking out units. Although we're still, well, we are spending a bit more than we're earning, so we're still okay. We're not going to cap out. And now we can use this time where we're free to go and do something with our units. Our commander's still walking around with the other advanced construction bot, building all the metal extractors, which is good. And now we're going to use our spiders to start blowing everything up. We'll use the peons to get a little bit of vision so they know what to shoot at. Although we have forgot to bring some anti-air with us, so we're going to retreat for the moment and we're going to quickly crank out a few anti-air bots. Now that our fusion reactor is online, we've got loads of power coming in, so we can tell all of these units to assist building this. And then with these four, we're going to build a few more energy converters to make sure that we don't waste any energy. Now all that's ready, we can move ready to do another attack. And we're going to queue up some more units for when those die. So let's build a few hounds. Our anti-air bots are keeping the enemy aircraft away pretty nicely. And then we can just inch forward with hold position on and start engaging stuff as we find it. But again, we're not going to forget our economy, so we're going to make sure everything's going nicely. We're earning more than we're spending in the metal department, so we want to make sure we can fix that. We're still earning more than we're spending, so we're going to make some more construction bots and make sure we've got our build power even higher. And our units can keep advancing and firing at stuff. And then we can see the enemy commander, which hopefully we can blow up. He won't be able to stand up to these rockets for very long. And that big boom means that the enemy commander is dead and we've won the game. Hooray for us. It wasn't much of a challenge, the simple AI is pretty easy, but it was sufficient for our purposes, and I hope that you've now got an idea of how all of the basic concepts fit together. As we go into our next game, we're going to introduce some new units and buildings and talk about better ways of doing things. So let's fire up a second skirmish and get right to it. So we're going to use exactly the same map. The only thing we're going to do differently is that the AI we're against is a little bit tougher, just to give us something a bit more to play against. Before we actually spawn though, we're going to use the shift-click Q system to go ahead and put down our starting buildings, just so we don't have to worry about quickly clicking when we get into the game. It's not a huge benefit, but it saves a bit of fluffing around, so we're going to do that, including our bot lab, and then we're going to go. I'm not going to go too heavy on the hotkeys on this playthrough, but there are a few that we should use because it saves us a huge amount of time. So shift clicking to Q is the obvious one, same with almost every game, and it's going to help us out. Unlike some other games, the resources aren't spent until you actually start the building, so they don't go into some temporary black hole while stuff's queued, so feel free to queue up stuff to your heart's content. It's really good and lets you get on with other stuff without having to think. So just like before, building our windmills, building our metal extractors, and then the bot lab. You'll notice that the amount of energy generated by a wind turbine varies based on the wind speed, which is at the top of the map. If it's quite low on average, which it will tell you, it's better to build solar collectors. Otherwise, wind turbines are probably better. However, sometimes I start with a single solar collector in case I'm unlucky on the wind speed. But at the moment, stick to the turbine. We can actually queue up stuff on the bot lab before it's finished, so I'm going to queue up my first couple of pawns and my first construction bot while that's building. We can also use shift click here to queue up 5, we can right click to cancel, and we can use control click to queue up 20, which is also really useful. And with our commander, we're going to just help out building our first couple of units while we've still got a bit of energy to spend. Now that we've run out of energy, we're going to get him running and we're going to go and build our load of metal back here. And then I think we're going to queue up the defences as well. So let's put our 2 things and our radar down. We've got our peons, so we're going to put these over here to keep an eye out. You'll notice with the radar that line of sight is a big deal with radars. You see the little green area as we move them around. So if you can get a radar on top of the hill, because then you can cover everything. If it's at the bottom of the hill, then it will get blocked. Now we do have a bit of a gap here, but we're just going to try and cover it as best we can. Should have built an extra peon really, that's just my fault. But we're going to do that now. Now, unlike before where we built loads of construction bots to help us build, instead we're going to build a construction turret. Now these are actually a lot better than construction bots. If you notice they cost 210 metal, a construction bot is 110, so they are a lot more expensive, but they do provide a lot more build power. And although they can't move, they do have a habit of getting on target a lot quicker. Their radius is pretty big, you can see it there. So I tend to build a lot of things around the base and use these. So we'll be using lots of construction turrets instead of lots of construction bots on this skirmish. So it's a lot more realistic. Now you'll notice we've run out of energy here. We can actually reclaim things. So we can reclaim dead units and we can reclaim things like trees and rocks to give us a bit of energy or metal. You see it gives us a little temporary boost. The hotkey for that is E. And also you can press E and hold down and drag your mouse and it'll draw a circle. Then when you let go, it'll actually gather everything in that area. Really, really useful. So now we've got our energy up a little bit. We're going to use our commander to carry on there. And then we'll re-queue up the things that we cancelled just like before. Now that we've got our construction turret done, we can queue up some windmills. So this is what you can do with the shift click here, is if you hold down shift and then left button, and then hold down alt at the same time, you can actually drag out a big patch of buildings, which is really good when you want to build a lot of stuff. Let's close the gap here. Bring an extra peon down, send this one up here, cover this gap. And then we're going to build another construction bot and queue up about 20 peons. You'll notice that these are building really quick now because the construction turret's helping. It'll just pick something within range and automatically help build it. It'll also repair units in range, and if it's not doing any of that, it'll reclaim anything that's reclaimable. So now we've got this guy, go and get our metal extractors, queue them up, and also, same as before, we're going to put a couple of turrets here to cover it, and a radar. We're going to try and put it sort of here so it can see through a gap quite easily. Oh, we've got a leak through, and he's going to destroy our metal thing, so we're going to rush at him with our bot and try and catch him before he kills our metal extractor. You'll notice they die really, really quick, so we're going to lose one here, which is annoying. But that's my own fault for not paying enough attention. But we do have our commander free, so he can come back, and then he can reclaim that bot's metal, and then we can use that to buy something. We've got more of these now, so we're going to start moving these. You can click and drag right click on the move to place them, which is really useful. So that's another hotkey thing to remember and keep in mind. Because you don't want to group stuff up too much as well, because of artillery and area of effect abilities and things like that. So we're establishing our front line. Now we've got too much metal and too much energy, so we're going to need to improve our production. So we're going to cancel this guy's windmill production after that one's finished. And then we're going to come through and we're going to get a second construction turret up. We'll use the commander to help him build that. The enemy is poking a little bit, so we'll just make sure he doesn't get too close. We don't really want to engage him unless we have to, but we want to stop him sneaking through. Now we've got 2 construction turrets, lovely. So we're going to resume our windmill creation over here. And we're also going to build a couple of early energy converters just to get rid of any excess. And then we're going to build a single metal storage and 2 energy storage. It's not much, but it will mean that we don't cap out so easy. You'll notice that these things are on hold position. If you look down here, you can change it. I often have them on maneuver, which means they will close to attack stuff. They'll chase it for a bit, but it's not too bad. So we do seem to have a little attack coming through here. These dots mean that it's been picked up by our radar. So we're going to move back a bit. They'll probably move back. So everything's going pretty well. We've got bots done. We're going to get another construction bot out because they're useful. Then we're going to build some rocketeers because they're a lot tougher. Looks like we're going to need some more forces up here, so we're going to move these up to help. I think our laser turret might just be okay. Yeah, but we will have another one. Leave a couple of bots here to protect. Move the rest down to the middle so we don't get sneaked on. Move a couple of these. No, we'll keep them. But we've got these rocket guys now, so we'll move a couple up there. Spread them out a bit. Establish a front line. So now we've got our storage done. And you see we can actually store a lot more metal and energy, which is going to be really helpful. You want to try and keep your opponent off guard a bit. So we're going to use a few of our rubbish little bots here to go and do some stuff. The longer the game goes on, the worse the starting units get. So rather than just having a load of them sitting around your base, it's better to often just go and do something with them. Try and jab your enemy, get a couple of kills, maybe kill some of their metal extraction. So we're going to take these and we're going to go around here. And what we're going to do is we're going to use the fight command, which is a bit like a tac move. So you press F, click where you want to go, and they'll fight anything on the way. You can also click and hold left click when you do that and give them a nice little order. Then you can shift Q up and give them some moves. So we're going to tell them to go down here, fight their way up, and then withdraw back to base if any of them are alive. And now we've got loads of rocket bots. So we're going to put some of them just behind our front line, move a couple up the top, and then move a few more down the bottom here. And I tell you what, we're going to get a reclaim bot as well to harvest the dead stuff. Let's just make sure our front line's fine here. What we're going to do though is we're going to use alt click. What that'll do is cancel the current build and then immediately build the alt click at the front of the queue, and then it will go back and continue building whatever you were building before. So it's good if you want to quickly get something out without wrecking what you've got queued up. And then we're going to hold the E key down with this guy like we did before, do a big area like that, and he's going to run around and reclaim everything to get some energy and metal back. Then once he's done that, we'll also shift Q that up and he'll do it there too. Reclaiming is actually a really big part of Bar, and it's you have to kind of think about it quite tactically when you make your attacks. If you do a big push on the enemy and then have to fall back and leave all your things dead there, it might feel like you've done a lot of damage to your enemy, but the problem with that is you've also left all the corpses of everything that was destroyed, and then that means that they can just harvest them and they've got a huge amount of resources back, which you won't have got. So you have to be a bit careful. Now, I was dumb there and lost my reclaim bot, so I'll get another one up. And I think I'm going to build another construction turret. Just going to, as soon as I can't get more than I can spend, I just add another one on. Easy as that. Now, my bots are taking care of these without much of a problem. My commander's going to get these metal points. He's going to build a few more little defences along here and take the advantage of the high ground to get a nice radar down there. Now, I've got plenty of metal still, so I'm going to upgrade to a Tech 2 bot lab. I'm going to use the left and right bracket keys to turn around so I can get it facing the right way. And our construction turrets are going to help build that really quickly. So if we had enough metal, it'd only take 20 seconds, but I think we're probably going to run out before we get them. But we can always reclaim some stuff using our construction bot. So all the construction bots can reclaim. They're not as quick as some of the more specific units for it. The Lazarus, that one we looked at earlier, that can actually resurrect stuff that's dead. You can only resurrect units once. They get a little halo around their head. We'll do it here as a little example so you can see. Our commander is fine, but we are going to move these forward a bit so he doesn't get pressured too hard. You'll see this guy's actually resurrecting this unit now. And then he comes back up with low health and he's got the little halo on. That means that, you know, if he dies again, he's going to just explode. But we don't really want to resurrect these rubbish bots, so we're just going to use him to salvage this metal. And you notice that our metal income is actually going up really high at the moment because of this. So really important to salvage everything. Ah, here we go. Right, our tier 2's up. So we're going to get our... Well, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get our advanced construction bot up, because we really want to upgrade the metal points as quickly as possible. Obviously, the advanced metal extractors, or AMEXs, they're 4 times better than these basic ones. So we've got, what, we've got 8 extractors at the moment. Well, no, we've got more than that. We've got 13. Obviously, if we had advanced in all of them, then it would be the same as having 52 of them. I don't know if my maths is right. A lot of them. Let's just go for that. So we're going to send him round to go and do some building, and then we're going to send our construction bot to help him, and then we're going to build ourselves a few little rocket spiders to help out. Oh god, we've mucked up and we've let some stuff get to our base. This is bad. Windmills die incredibly easy. Storage is a bit tougher, but I think we're going to lose all of our windmills here. Yeah, that's very bad. But we're going to, we've got metal, we've got energy, we can recover quickly, we've got construction turrets. So we're going to get our construction bot, we're going to build a load of windmills here, and then hopefully everything's going to be fine. We're also going to sort out this short-term loss by gathering trees to get energy. We'll do the same with this unit here to gather some trees. And then hopefully all that gathering of trees is actually going to just hold us by while we get everything repaired and fixed up. We are bottlenecked a lot here on energy. You see, we can't really produce anything because we're trying to produce everything. So what we're going to do is actually, we don't need that. We're going to cancel it. We're going to cancel these rocket spiders, use the energy we've got to quickly pump out some windmills and hopefully recover our situation a bit better. A commander, we're going to tell him to keep reclaiming. Hopefully we can defeat all these with a fight order. Oh, we might have a bit of leakage here. Oh, it's alright, we might be able to kill it with our rocket spider, but he's going to go straight for our metal points as he would. Hopefully we can kill him before that becomes a problem. Okay, that's done. Right, let's move units in to cover this gap. Right, so we've fixed our energy problem pretty much. So what we're going to do now is, once we finish these windmills, we're going to get a couple of advanced solar collectors up because they're a lot better. We are just about holding the front. I've tried not to build too many units. The idea is you want to build just enough and then use everything else to power your economy. But I do want to go and try and kill a few bits of the enemy before they get too powerful after they've wrecked my windmills there. So I'm going to pick all my cheap rubbish peons, put them in a group and then send them down here to try and take out this area. Let's hope our peons can do some damage to the enemy. We've got loads of metal coming in now, so we need to make sure we spend it and we need more energy. So we're going to get our advanced construction bot, which is done with our nice big radar, which is why you can see loads of dots all over the map. We're going to go with a fusion reactor because that's going to give us loads of nice power like we did before. So that should sort out our energy problem. We're using quite a lot of metal, but we're still not using enough. So really we need a bit more build power. So what we'll do is we'll get another few turrets up here. So we're going to use the attack move in a nice line, so they're all going to line up nicely and put some work in. Now we've got our fusion reactor, we've got loads of metal coming in. It seems like a really good time to get our experimental gantry out. So let's go with one of those. You'll notice that I didn't actually build any vehicles yet, or any aircraft or anything. The main reason for is just efficiency. Because you don't need all types of things, you just need what you need for the way you want to play. So, although vehicles are excellent and aircraft are excellent and everything's excellent, but because I didn't diversify too much, it means I could use all my resources on units and infrastructure rather than building loads of different types of factories and stuff. So, it's just about efficiency. Although, if I was playing properly and I was a bit better, what I'd probably do is think a bit more carefully about exactly what I wanted and what areas. But, you know, with this map, with these cliffs, it's quite good to have a lot of rocket spiders, so bots seems to be a good idea for me. Okay, now the big boys up. So these units are hella powerful, although we're going to be running low on energy, so it's probably time for another fusion reactor, I think. So let's pop one of those down here. And you always want to just keep improving your economy. So everything I'm doing, although I'm building units and doing little attacks, I'm still improving my economy. Oh god, I don't know what that was, but something just horribly blew up on my commander. Let's run him back. These things are pretty powerful though. They'll take quite a lot of punishment if they go down. And once again, that lovely big boom means that we've won. As you might have noticed, I spent a lot of time talking about your economy, as it's a very macro-oriented game. Most units don't have any special abilities, and in the majority of cases are perfectly able to put in a lot of work with a simple move or attack order. That isn't to say that micro doesn't help, and there are certainly some situations in which it can make a lot of difference. However, apart from the early game, it's macro and strategy that are going to put you ahead of your opponent more often than not. So that's BAR. If this piqued your interest, then head on over to beyondallreason.info and download the client. Later videos in this series will look at advanced topics and hopefully help you become more confident with the game, so keep an eye out for those in the future. If you've got any questions about the game, then leave me a comment or visit my Discord, which will be linked in the channel description. As per usual, if you enjoyed this video, click the like button, and if you want more of this sort of thing, then subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you back soon.